And you had mentioned just before the break really two issues that were the start for you.
Yes, it was the issue of unity, because when you, in a work like this, of course you come across, and there's confrontation also with other Christian groups. And you also find yourself, and you see that, well, this is wonderful what is happening. It's a form of a revival, and or a harvest time. And harvest, you must bring them into barns, otherwise you destroy it. So it's a form of church planting. It was church planting on a big scale. But you also come in contact with others, and there are friction and the different understandings, and the feeling of being I'm a part of something that obviously the Lord is doing, because He loves souls, and He thirsts for souls, and at that time in Eastern Europe, and still I would say, there are so many that needed to hear the gospel. But am I also a part of an increased division? That question started to bother me a bit. I had a very unique experience actually in Albania. We went in Albania in 1991.
It's one of the most atheist countries.
Oh yeah, I would say the most, that and North Korea. They still had a communist president at that time, but a few in the government were Democrats. So we came in contact with the Minister of Culture, and to make it short, we were invited to the stadium in Tirana to do a gospel meeting. And this meeting was, 20,000 people came. Wow. So it was substantial. Wow. And it was an amazing event. We got out on television, and we really reached the whole nation, preaching Jesus to the whole nation so strongly that the president himself called in and said, "Stop this!" And the one that editor, you say, the one that holds the program, he refused to stop it. He kept it for 2 hours. So it was powerful. Afterwards, we met the secretary that would be the secretary to the coming president, and he had been there. He was so happy, and he said, "This is wonderful. I'm also a Catholic." And I was thinking, I'm not a Catholic. I'm a Protestant. I'm Lutheran in justification by faith through grace, by grace through faith. But I'm also Methodist in sanctification. I would say I'm Baptist in more of when it comes to how we baptize, but not the essence of baptism. But I'm also Pentecostal. I believe in the Holy Spirit, but I'm a charismatic, more than just one thing about the Holy Spirit. And of course we preach faith, and I'm thinking, how do I explain this to this man? I thought this in 1 second. So after this raced through my mind, I just said, "Well, that's wonderful, brother." But it stuck with me when he said, "I'm also a Catholic." So there was something in what he said that started a process in me. What about the Catholics? What about the Catholic Church?
Had you ever, in your lives before, ever considered the Catholic faith?
Not at that point.
No,
no. I mean, we a little bit in contact doing this, but more studying theology, but nothing else. So they were not even on the radar, so to speak. But as we got out, we came into contact with Catholics, and those issues came up. Well, Catholics, are they Christians or not? And all this, and it started to bother us. And we started to, and the other thing I would say, so unity was one thing, and the other thing was, of course, problems with leadership in our own movement, things that started to happen that was not so easy to take care of. How do we take care of it? Doctrinally, are we thinking the same thing, or is everybody just reading the way they want to read it? And these things came up, and different manifestations and charismatics. Is this sound or is it not sound? Who defines it? Who decides? All these issues start to come. And independent churches or not, and so on. What about bishops and all these things? Right. And in the midst of this, there was one thing that came strongly in me, and it was the question: what is the essence of the church? Not the practice, not the evangelism or the mission, but what is the essence of the church? And this little line, it just stuck with me, and I couldn't get away from it. And in this, now we're in the end of the 90s, I would say, and we're starting to think about these things. Yeah. And
we're actually around the year 2000.
Yeah, maybe around there. Yeah.